Welcome to Market Like It's Hot, where strategy sizzles and marketing bullshit goes die. We're Yasmin and Izzy from Rebel Marketing, and we're done with performative post, trend chasing, and burnout marketing. Here, it's all about what actually works, real strategies, real talk, and the occasional roast of LinkedIn bros or awkward Gene ad contours. Whether you're solo, scaling, or somewhere in between, this is your no fluff guide to marketing like a rebel. Our guest today is Taylor from Lunimae. She's the systems whisperer your business didn't know it needed, or I didn't know I needed. She's here to help you stop solving surface level problems and start thinking holistically. Because let's be real, if your marketing's not working, the issue probably isn't your Instagram strategy. Our guest today is Erin from Lunimae, the systems whisperer your business didn't know the systems whisperer your business didn't know it needed. She's here to help you solve surface level problems and start thinking holistically because let's be real, if your marketing's not working, the issue probably isn't your Instagram strategy. Erin, I'm excited to have you here. Please don't air all of the Rebel Marketing dirty laundry unless we need a reality check, I guess.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit? Actually, Izzy was going to take the first question.
Yeah, I'll take the first question. Can you tell us about your business and what inspired you to start it?
Definitely. I spent a lot of time corporate. I really believed my end goal would be to climb the corporate ladder, and I did that for a while, and it just became very unsatisfying and extremely frustrating at times. And so I took the aspects of what I did, which was IT project management, and I decided to leverage that into my own business. So after several iterations, we are where we are today. But Luna started in January 2020. So it was a fun first year figuring things out. But my main goal was to help people understand systems, set them up for success in their business so they could do what they do best while I help with everything behind the scenes.
Yeah. When did you realize that focusing on just one area of business just wasn't enough?
Oh, probably. I mean, gosh, back in my corporate days, honestly, I did a lot of process improvement, and in corporate, everything is very much siloed, and you see that now in the online space as well. Of we're only talking about client experience, or we're only talking about project management, or we're only talking about this marketing. And there are so many overlapping pieces and intricacies between the two. I think it's not responsible to only look at one piece. You have to pull back and look at it all holistically.
How has your own experience running a business shaped the way you work with your clients today?
Yeah, I a lot of patience, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like most people don't understand everything that goes into running a business. I know I didn't. I went in, eyes wide shut, I guess. And figuring things out, and you just have to have the patience to work through the questions, work through the process, understand that, it might not be the first time we set something up, might not be the end goal. We're gonna see how it goes and make adjustments.
I agree. It's you have to probably have just speaking from working with you, you do have a lot of patience. I with us, with myself, with my brain, and there's a lot more. It's not just patience, but it's also like taking your own experience of what you see other companies doing and giving you're not just a doer of the task. You try to actually support in that ideation process and what where we can take the business next. So that's I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with any part of business, it's like listening to your clients and understanding what they want, whether they can articulate it or not, and trying to get that there.
Yeah. So a lot of people think of systems and they immediately picture like tech tools, Asana, Trello, all those things, or just automations. What do you mean by holistic business systems?
Yeah, so systems are how you run your business. Everyone has a system, whether it's the best system or not is another question, but it comes down to the steps you take to meet your client where they are. It's the steps you take to market your business. It's the steps you take to delegate work. So systems are the process along with the tools that support that process. And so when they are all working together, that's where you get a beautiful, smooth, easy process. When they're working against each other, and that's never on purpose, but it doesn't feel right. It feels bumpy. It feels like a lot more work. That's usually when people start, questioning the tools, and calling that, a failure of the system where, the system is everything and we got to look at it across the board.
So, what are some signs that a business is just treating the symptoms instead of the root problem of a system? Then,
Yeah, yeah. It's usually when they start saying, "Oh, I've tried everything and nothing works. I'm going to stop trying to automate because it's never works. I don't trust the tools." Things like that, where there's usually a disconnect between the process and the system, and there's usually something at the root cause of that we can fix.
Mhm.
Can you walk us through an example of a client who came in thinking they had some kind of systems issue or marketing issue or sales issue, but it turned out to be something else entirely?
Yeah, the most common one I run into is people coming to me saying they have a project management issue, and usually that comes down to a gap in the process somewhere. So one particular client, I won't use you as an example. One particular one particular client said they needed a project manager because the process took too long. And so after working through a few iterations, we found that she was doing everything so manually and so detailed that it was taking her hours to send, one follow-up email or one proposal. So we were able to take that while not, and her concern was, I don't want things to feel impersonal. And so being able to take that concern and look at what her clients' needs were in their feedback, we were able to take that process from needing a project manager to doing the things she thought a project manager would do completely by automation.
With what you were just saying, with like the project managers and them saying it was going to take too long, what is like
Mhm.
the most common disconnect you see like between these systems, and like why is it even taking them that long in the first place?
It's usually because business owners don't wanna let go of control.
Yeah.
They wanna be they wanna be hands-on at every single step, and so, yeah, half of the battle is releasing control either to a tool that will do the job for them or people on their team and not letting trusting the people on their team to do their job.
Mhm.
I think that I don't know. I know we work with you. So maybe in team meetings or something, you just have like a little card that as soon as I start saying something, it's like a red card for controlling or like, um, I don't know, yellow card for like, is this shiny object syndrome?
Right?
Yeah. What's one small change in a business system that tends to have a big ripple effect?
Understanding how your system interconnects. Um,
Mm.
I think again, like the silos, not looking at your systems in a silo, but looking at them across the board and seeing how you can better leverage what you already have.
Mhm. Are there any areas in a business that people like often overlook when they're trying to scale?
Yeah, client communication.
Yep.
While everyone
Mhm.
everyone says that that's a top priority, that's usually the area where I find the most room for growth and improvement. And when you're trying to scale, half of it is feedback and testimonials from clients. And so taking better care of your clients in a way that doesn't take more time or energy from you, but still helps them, makes a big impact.
Yeah.
So, how do you approach helping a client untangle a business that feels really chaotic or stuck?
Yeah, I go back to process mapping. I love process mapping. So visually laying out what happens across the business every single step. And so talking a business owner through that, and you'll find that there's so much information that lives in their head and it's not documented anywhere. And so when you continue to ask them, okay, but then what happens? What does the client, does the client get an email here? Do they get a reminder? How do you tell your team? Asking those questions and really documenting what's happening or where there's a gap will really clarify where we need to step in and make some adjustments.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like us as a small business too, we struggle with this, but what advice would you have for like small business owners or entrepreneurs who feel like the systems are always too big for their company or like not as well, like we deal with a lot of tech and marketing, but we sometimes feel like we're cutting certain things because we're not the big heavy tech startup. So like what advice would you have for people in our position and others that you've dealt with before?
Yeah, it's getting the requirements of like what do you actually need to do the job properly, regardless of tools. You're not even talking about specific tools. Like what do you need, and then let's align the tools to fit those needs. And then sometimes with those tools, it's some of these tools have options where you can shut off bigger features, and so you can only use like certain aspects of the tool. And sometimes from a um, size perspective, it's easier to start with a simple tool and then add to it versus, having this big tool that you feel is built for Fortune 500 that you're working with currently. So it's finding the right balance and being willing to do sometimes manual is the right step. Sometimes it isn't automation. Sometimes it isn't finding a tool that does everything. It's finding the tool that does 80%, and being willing to find the right steps manually in there.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with looking at trying to step away from the actual tool and trying to see what your needs are, or what does that process, I guess that process map, what does that look like? Because the tools you might have might not you think you want, you might not be the ones that you actually need. Speaking as a person who loves tools or
Yes.
shiny
Yeah.
object syndrome. Yeah. So, when is it the right time to start thinking about these holistic systems, like from startup to mid growth, overwhelmed chaos?
All the time. All the time. But, specifically when nice trigger points would be when you're revamping your offer, when you're adding a new team member, when you're scaling in some way. Those are big points that you wanna take a pause and think about what's happening across the board and how everything interconnects so you can take that next step, fully seeing what's happening today.
Mhm. What is one hack you have or a trend you've seen that you think is totally overhyped when it comes to like businesses? Like I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll be like, I'll see these people be like, I know how to make you 100 million in sales in the first year. You know what I'm saying? But like in
Mhm.
your field, what kind of overhyped trends are you seeing?
Well, the big trend I've seen lately is jumping ship on tools the minute anything happens. Uh, you
Because that
know,
works.
Not totally
it
not us.
I mean, every tech has downtime. It, sometimes happens unfortunately at bad times, but that doesn't mean you should jump ship. It should mean that you're looking at like how is the company responding? Are they proactively communicating with their clients? Are they making sure like did they have backups? Did you lose data during this downtime? So looking at those instead of immediately saying, well, this company didn't have downtime at that exact same time, so I'm going to jump ship over here. So
Yeah, I agree, and I think that goes with for a lot of different things. It's really about that communication, the data, the backups, because it could be your project management system went down, it could be email, whatever it was. There's you have to look at it, I guess, holistically and see if is it time to switch? Is this just an ongoing thing, or is it a one-time occurrence? Also,
exactly.
was it your user error?
Right.
Um, so, okay, what's a mistake you see even seasoned entrepreneurs make when it comes to their systems?
Often with seasoned entrepreneurs, it's the overcomplication of systems. Like,
Mm.
we don't need to have complicated systems. If we can get the job done in 3 steps, why are we taking 6? If this automation does this already, we don't need to have a different automation doing something very similar over here. So many times when I work with business owners who've been around a long time, we're actually removing things from their process and from their systems to just streamline it because at that point they don't know what's going on. They know there's tech happening somewhere and I'm not even sure what's going on.
Yeah. I just to interject, I think from my in my world, that's like WordPress plugins, right? I've seen some clients that have a plugin that's very similar or does what another plugin does, but they have all of these separate plugins that are
Mhm.
overloading their system. And I think that can also be a reflection of business. And do you have 20 different subscriptions that kind of do the same stuff? And do you even need
Right.
them?
Exactly. And like you said, it overloads the system, even if that system is you.
Us. That happens to us way too often. So how do you market like it's hot?
I like to outsource that side of my business.
But how about like
Ooh, yeah.
personal branding then? Like how did you build this? How did you get out there first? Then we could go from there.
Okay. I was like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Hire companies like Rebel Marketing. uh, uh, Gosh, isn't that hard to put yourself out there? I think it was almost easier when I started because I didn't know any better and I didn't have any moments that I felt like, I'm questioning myself. And I think at this point, you're like, ooh, that was a little cringe if I rewatch something from when you started. But I think that there's lessons learned when you look back and say, well, I just was doing it. I didn't know any better. I was just getting it out there. And sometimes I think it's important to, tell yourself that again, even as a seasoned business owner of just do it. Who cares how it looks? Like just get it out there.
Yeah. So I guess how do you systems like it's hot?
Systems like it's on. I I like to do a reflection and both with myself and my excuse me, and my team on what's working, what feels hard, where is she coming back and asking me questions, and that's my trigger point to say, "Oh, we need to do something here. I need to make
Mm.
this here. Either I need to document something, we need to put a tool in place, something needs to improve." So it's a nice little quarterly check-in with my business on how I can improve things.
That's So, what's one action step our listeners can take this week to start seeing their businesses more holistically?
Oh, I got 2 options for you. I would say one, you can list out all the tools that you're using right now or paying for and identify what you're using them for. It might be an eye opener on areas you can cancel a tool or where you might see overlap. The other place that you could go, depending on where you are in your business, is to map out what's happening, in just one area of your business. And it might start getting you thinking about how you can improve that, even, onboarding a client and taking it step by step to make sure that their experience is as white glove as you would expect it to be.
Right. Well, where can people learn more about you, learn more about your business and what you're working on, and or if they want to join your community, plug all your stuff.
Yeah. So my website is lunamae.com. That's LUNIMAE.com. I'm Lunamae Strategy on all of the places Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the things, threads. I'm most active on Instagram. So DM me there or head to the website to learn more.
How'd you get that name?
I came up with the name combining 2 words, illuminate and then Mayan, which is an Old English word meaning intent or purpose, and I smashed them together to make my own word that I could trademark.
Yeah, that's marketing like it's hot.
There we go. Okay.
All right, that's it. Thanks for listening to Market Like It's Hot. If today's episode made you nod, laugh, or scream, finally, share it with your team or your boss who still thinks that we should be on Facebook more. Or if your boss thinks that they should add another shiny tech item, call Erin. For tools, templates, and hot takes we don't share on air, head to myrebelmarketing.com and grab our free marketing worksheet. And if you're feeling bold, DM us on LinkedIn or DM Erin and tell us what you're sick of in systems or marketing. We might just feature it or we might create another podcast about it. Until next time, stay strategic, stay spicy, and whatever you do, don't settle for boring.
Unless it's your systems.
Yeah,
Or
so,
systems would be good.
yes. Marketing should be spicy. Your systems should be mashed potatoes and gravy.
I love mashed potatoes and gravy.
I didn't say they were bad. I just, they're not going to make you tear up and cry.
Yeah.
And I just called you by your last name. So I'm going to redo that.
Okay.
That is your last name, right, Taylor?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay. I guess, okay, so what? Are you making fun of me?
No, it's a Monday.
It's a Monday. I'm assuming this is an edited podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So